Welcome back, Commanders. Architect here once again. And we are back with Legend of the Stars qualifying tournament #1 coverage for the YouTube archives. So that is what we're doing today. We're going to be covering Heaven versus Mountain. So we're going to head back to Forbidden Pass. I know we've had a lot of games on Forbidden Pass already, but it's been a little while since I cast the last of them. So it feels like I've had a break, and hopefully you feel like you've had a break from it as well. So this is Legend of the Stars, massive tournament championship for the year, in fact, and it consists of 4 qualifying tournaments, all sponsored by Legend of the Stars, and then a grand final championship for 2018 happening just at the very tail end of the year, and that is going to have a $500 main prize, which is sponsored by none other than Legend of the Stars. That is a very generous prize indeed. And it is one that is really bringing great players out of the woodwork. We've seen a few names pop back up recently after the tournaments have started again. So we can see how the qualifying tournament is standing there. It is a double elimination, which means that once these guys drop out of a match, they will have a chance to fight their way through the losers bracket and come back potentially fighting for the overall win of the qualifier at the end there. But without any further ado, let's head on down to Forbidden Pass, where we're going to watch Mountain taking on Heaven. And there you have it. All right, let's get this game underway and just check on how everything is looking. We've got the correct sides there now. And we have got Heaven taking a very sickly green color. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that is fine. He's going to be taking the Aeon faction. We can see he has got his first land factory going down. We've got 1, 2, 3 first power gens. And then we've got a couple of those core mixes going down before putting a few more power gens down. And then heading into that first air factory. Well, the second factory will be air. Alright, then we've got Mountain, his opponent up in the top right corner, taking purple and also taking the Aeon faction. He's going to go very light on power, it looks. He's going to put down just 2 Tech 1 power gens, then grabbing the 4 core mixes, and it looks like he's going to be relying on this attack move out of the factory to pull in those trees. Hopefully that is going to be enough power for him to be able to get his initial build well up and running without stalling, because if he stalls, then it will be an almost immediate loss to Heaven. But I'm sure he knows what he is doing, because he is far more highly rated than I, so we will take his opinion over mine. So we've got the engineers rolling down. We can see the multiple attack moves. That is a very nice way to do it. They all sit in different places and pull in all of those trees, although those tree groups disappearing very quickly. It is providing a lot of power to him, but it does mean it's not going to last very long. That forest is absolutely decimated, so I hope Greenpeace does not exist anywhere on this planet, because they will be coming for Mountain. Alright, Heaven down here continuing with the initial build of getting those power gens underway. He's getting the 4th one down, so we can see he is going to be a little ahead of Mountain in terms of power generation. By the time he's finished that, he'll be well ahead. But is that going to make a difference? Because there is a hydro, and we can see the engineer from Heaven. He is coming out this way. He will stop to smell the roses and build a mix before he gets started on that hydro. That is just a single engineer. Is this guy going to help out? No, he has got a whole lot of manual reclaim, so it will be just the 1 engineer on the hydro. And what have we got from Mountain? We've got 2 NGs. They're going to come out, grab that mix, and then get the hydro built. So that probably will be a little faster than Heaven to get that up and running. But he does have his air factory already starting to spit out air units on only 3 completed Tech 1 power gens and reclaim. And look at that, he is cutting his power situation extremely fine, even setting reclaim orders back here in the base to help it out. And whoa, he has run out of power. No, well, he's just sitting on the breadline there. That is very close, and you might argue that it is just very finely balanced indeed. All right, we've got Heaven out with a interceptor. He is going to be heading straight across, so I think the idea here is trying to airlock Mountain, so he's going to get that interceptor overhead, shoot down anything that comes out of the factory for Mountain, and if he can get a good enough beat on that, he will be able to shut down Mountain's air production, and he's even got a scout out for good measure. The speed on that scout a bit higher than the interceptor, so it will reach the base of Mountain first and provide targeting if he should need it. What have we got so far? There is just a single scout there for Mountain. Are we going to see targeting of that? It looks like the interceptor is going to come back, and yes, that is the plan, and down it goes in a single shot. So very nicely played there from Heaven. He's going to shut down that scout, and that will make Heaven a bit more advanced in terms of intel collection at this point, given that he has a scout still in the air, and Mountain finds himself without anything. We've got a second interceptor rolling in from Heaven to try and shut down the air, but well, that is not going to happen now. There are two interceptors out from Mountain, and given the proximity to this air factory, I don't think Heaven can spit out interceptors fast enough and get them across the other side of the map to be able to shut down Mountain's air facility at this time. All right, we've got the ACUs moving out to their usual meta positions out the front here. So Heaven's going to be coming and taking this position, which makes him a good place for a spam base. And we're going to see the same thing down here, well, up here from Mountain as well. He's going to get the ACU across the water and build those mexes out. Then often we'll see a whole lot of factories going down so they can spam land units on the other side of the map. Although that doesn't matter quite so significantly this time around, because both these guys are Aeon and they're Tech 1 mainline tanks. That's this guy here, the Aurora. Those things, they are hover, so they can shoot right across the water and do not care. So he can still spam units across the water, and that's exactly what we can see here. These guys just taking a stroll across, and they are able to get into all sorts of positions which would be very difficult for the other factions. All right, we can see a raiding going on down up in the top here. We've got an Aurora coming in. Have we got any counter raiding at all from Mountain? No, in fact, he is getting bombed. We can see this Tech 1 bomber. He is going to come in and manage to score a kill on the engineer, which has completed that mass extractor, but still that is a good denial from Heaven. And I think that was the second engineer that has been taken out, but unfortunately no air support for that bomber means that the interceptor from Mountain, well, that comes on in and just takes out that bomber. So that's the end of that run. And what is this? This is a cheeky drop here. We have got interceptors all over it, though. They're taking some time to take out that transport, and he will get the engineers away. Look at that. He got all four of those guys down, and they're going to start working on a point defense. They're going to start securing the area, and that's going to give Mountain a leg up, although I don't know that he particularly needs it because he already has the ACU in position. And with the build power on that thing and the tankiness, he can put down a few factories and start to spam anyway. But it's still nice to have some extra build power to get things done just that much faster. All right, that PD is done, so that's going to secure the area against the Auroras for now. Are we seeing any artillery? I'm not seeing any artillery. This is not something that Heaven has anticipated just as yet, so he won't be able to take out that T1 PD very easily at all. But the debacle over that transport with Heaven focusing it, that has meant that Mountain has come away with a severe air win, and look at the number of interceptors that he's got overhead. He moves in for an airlock on Heaven's factory. Heaven is not able to stop that, and any interceptors or any air units at all that he can produce out of the air factory right now, they are going to get absolutely hammered by this cloud of interceptors, and that's going to force Heaven to switch up to ground-based AA, and we can see that one has already rolled off the factory, and there's a few in there. So Heaven, anticipating this move already, has started the production of those ground-based AA units just to try and give him some chance at warding away the bombers that are inevitably going to come, because once one of these guys has secured air control, well, that means that they've got free reign with their bombers. And, well, we've got a bomber already out. He's going to make a beeline across for this raiding unit over here, which is very, very slowly, now the Aurora has been taken out, very slowly doing damage. But we've got two bombers coming in. Down goes the scout that secures the area once again for Mountain. And we've got another bomber popping out. So it looks like it is going to be bomber spam from Mountain. That does seem to be a plan for him now that he's secured air control, and wow, and as he has secured it in a big way. Looking at the economies, they're actually not that dissimilar. There's just a few mechs in between, with Heaven actually managing to do slightly more in the build there, and I think that is probably mainly down to the denial of these mechs in the middle here for Mountain. So those guys are all empty right at the moment because these units from Heaven have come across and cleared them out. But they are under a lot of pressure from these bombers. The one pass for the bombers on Auroras, that is a real big problem for Heaven right now because they don't have enough HP. They trade the longevity for the ability to hover, and that means they go down in a single bomber pass. Wow, that is absolutely brutal on a bunch of Tech 1 Aeon units, especially with a T1 bomber which has great AoE. So the bombers are just absolutely raining death down upon those units, although if Heaven can get a hold of the air situation, I feel like he will be able to make good inroads up towards Mountain's main base here, just simply due to a lack of ground units. We can see the spam that is coming out of here. So once Heaven can get the air situation under control, well, if he can get it under control, he will have a fairly decent force to be able to push up and threaten the main base of Mountain. And we are seeing Tech 2 mass extractor upgrades in here as well, so that would be very costly to Mountain if he was to have any pressure applied to their main base. But look at the number of bombers. This is absolutely insane. How many bombers are sitting there doing lots of damage to all the units coming in? The saving grace for Heaven is that they are very spread out and he's not taking more damage than he has to with each pass. Alright, the ACU for Mountain being very, very aggressive down here, and look at how quickly it's eating through the HP on those Auroras. There is very little to stop them threatening the main base down here for Heaven, and Heaven I believe also has some Tech 2 mass extractor upgrades. Yes, we've already got 2 completed and a third one about to get underway. But what is this? This is a Tech 2 air factory. We've got Tech 2 engineer rolling out. We're probably going to see some Tech 2 power gens going down any minute now. That's going to help Heaven secure that air control that he so desperately needs. But wow, at this point I think it might be a bit too late. Although he does have a lot of ground-based AA, which is doing damage to those bombers, but it does mean that he has had to mix a lot of those guys in to his unit formations, and that's going to make them that much weaker when it comes to fighting tanks on the other side. But look at the number of inties still floating around. That is absolutely brutal. Mountain maintaining an iron fist on the air control right now. So it looks like Mountain not quite sure if he wants to take advantage of the ACU power that he's got down in the bottom left there. He is just backing that up a bit. He's got a few units in support, but obviously does not quite feel that's enough. Perhaps he has not been able to scout well enough, although I find that a bit of a preposterous position because he's got great air control. So it's just a case of not really wanting to commit that ACU. He feels like the spam that's coming out of these factories could overwhelm him, and he doesn't want to get caught out. Meanwhile, he is doing a very poor job of re-securing this area of the map. We can see the units for Heaven just still sitting all over the place, managing to deny all the mexes to Mountain, who is managing to be slightly ahead in the number of mexes and generated eco that he does have. And we've got a decent engagement happening down here with Heaven's Auroras coming up. They're starting to do some damage to that ACU, and you have to be careful because Auroras do in fact outrange the ACU, so he can sit there and, ow, this is not how you want to play it. That is a very serious misclick there from Mountain, who needs to get that ACU in the water. And what is this? Mercies? This is not going to happen. Surely that cannot happen because there is AA. No, there's no AA in the mix. Oh, what is this? Oh, got to be kidding me. This is a win for Heaven. After Mountain said such a strong start, I can't believe he died to Mercies. He had full air control. He had some ground-based air. Look, I can even see there is a Thistle in that mix. If it had just been that much closer, then he would have been able to perhaps survive. That is absolutely insane. I don't know the last time I saw a player of this caliber go down to Mercy Snipe. Wow. Okay, that is the end of that. So let's have a quick update of our draw. We have got Heaven managing to pull out the win there, so we're going to push him through to the third round. Next, we'll be looking at Thomas Hyatt taking on Zlo. Following that will be Bully, Dozer, and Esperanto, and that's going to round out our second round of the qualifying tournament on Forbidden Pass, and we'll be able to move on to some of the other maps.